Between 1942 and 1945, the world was engulfed in the most devastating conflict in human history, and the raw footage captured during these years provides a haunting, unfiltered glimpse into the brutality, courage, and desperation of the final years of World War II, showing battles that raged across continents, cities reduced to rubble, and soldiers and civilians alike enduring unimaginable suffering as nations fought for survival and supremacy. In Europe, grainy film reels document the relentless advance of Allied forces after D-Day, the liberation of concentration camps where emaciated survivors stare silently into the camera, and entire towns flattened by bombs, streets littered with twisted metal and bodies, while German soldiers, many exhausted and demoralized, attempt futile counterattacks against a war they no longer believe in. And yet, amidst the horror, the footage captures acts of heroism, defiance, and solidarity, soldiers rescuing civilians from burning buildings, medics tending to the wounded under fire, and ordinary people risking their lives to hide the persecuted from certain death. On the Eastern Front, Soviet troops push relentlessly against the Wehrmacht, often shown in footage trudging through snow, mud, and freezing rivers, their faces etched with fatigue and resolve. Storming fortified positions under machine gun fire, artillery shells exploding around them, and tanks advancing through ruined villages while civilians flee into the wilderness or huddle among the ruins, all captured in raw, unedited reels that convey the chaos and sheer scale of the conflict. Across the Pacific, film shows the brutal island-hopping campaigns, soldiers landing on beaches under a hail of bullets, naval battles with ships burning and sinking before the camera, and the terrifying aftermath of kamikaze attacks, while behind the front lines, civilians endure firebombing raids in cities like Tokyo and the relentless threat of invasion, leaving entire neighborhoods in flames and thousands of lives lost in a single night. Yet footage also reveals resilience. Children returning to schools and temporary shelters, workers rebuilding essential infrastructure, and medics tirelessly treating both soldiers and civilians alike. The period also captures the psychological toll of war. Soldiers' expressions as they witness comrades falling, letters being read aloud from loved ones far away, prisoners of war marching under guard, and the first moments of liberation where tears of relief and disbelief mix with grief, creating images that linger long after the reels stop. In 1945, the final acts of destruction and triumph are documented in stark clarity. The firebombing of Dresden, the surrender of German forces, the raising of flags on conquered islands, and the unprecedented horror of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, showing a city turned into ash with survivors wandering in shock. Yet even here, the human spirit persists as rebuilding begins almost immediately. Children are reunited with parents, and soldiers, exhausted and traumatized, finally glimpse a world free from fascist tyranny. These raw, unedited films, often grainy and shaky, serve not only as historical records, but as visceral reminders of the scale of human suffering and courage, showing the chaos, the fear, the determination, and the fleeting moments of hope that mark the final years of World War II, reminding viewers that behind every statistic is a life, a family, a story. And that even amidst the darkest chapters of history, humanity's resilience and capacity for survival remain undeniable. And through this footage, the world can witness, remember, and reflect on the immense cost of war and the enduring lessons it leaves for generations to come.